Hey everybody, welcome to another Universus Studios video. I guess now this is the second video in our response window series. I did commit to it, so we have to stick with
I
it.
didn't even know that.
So proud of you for
I
doing
know,
that.
dude. I like it. It's okay. Eventually I'll have art assets so it'll look even better. But yes, I'm back, joined again with Mark Tyner of our very own channel, and as well as Scott Sudman. He is back once again. Kind of here more so than JJ nowadays. Might keep it that way. Don't tell JJ I said that. But today we're going to be talking about another character that we believe is pretty relevant in the meta, and more so also we kind of talked about it beforehand, the kind of feeling that you get when you have to sit across this character. And that today is going to be Xianghua. The reversal slash not really playing reversals 3 base damage queen that she
The
is.
Super Stun champion.
That's right. Krita Yuga Master at her finest, because she gives anything stun. So we're going to be talking about her again. We're going to do kind of the same format that we did last time with Gil, that going individually on each person here, discussing why she's so strong, what do you do to stop her, and yeah, just as a character in general. We started with Scott last time, so I'm going to start with Mark this time. So Mark, Xianghua, how do you deal with her? I know you just play Gil, but you can't use that answer every single time that we play.
That's a pretty good answer till they hit him with the axe. But
Well, talk more general then. Why is Gil so good against her? Because he.
Why is Gil good against her, or how should everyone play against her?
In general, because I think the reason that Gil beats her is how other people should play against her, and why I think speed in general is so relevant right now.
So the easiest way you're gonna win that matchup is just good RNG. If Xianghua doesn't draw a 3-card combo to stop your turn every time, usually you can do alright with just the basic reversals and having stun hate in your deck. What you can do to make sure you have a better time is make sure you have stun hate in your deck. She's completely based around Krita Yuga, so if you have any way to remove Krita Yuga from the board, you're gonna have a much better chance when that's not on the board. And then making your attacks fast enough that she can't block, so she can't respond.
But Mark, I have cards like Precise Blow now, and more card pool clogging qualities, as well as having stun. And putting cards in your card pool is the same kind of idea of like making my attacks faster. And I have things like Champion of Combat to give my attacks stats, regardless if I stun your board or not. So how do you deal with that?
So the easiest way to get around the clogging of the card pool is if you can play. There's a number of answers that I don't know the name to off the top of my head. The one I do know is
Orphan Alchemist.
Yeah, Orphan Alchemist is the best spam you can run under any of its symbols to stop Xianghua, because it stops Precise Blow. It stops any card leaving your discard pile or your deck, I believe. So it stops Precise Blow. It stops Single Barrel, and it stops Yin and Yang, which are the important ones. It also stops Fatality, and then draws you a.
Okay, good. I wanted you to have an answer. I like things like Shadow Inheritance as well. Shadow Inheritance was kind of the auto win against Liu Kang when he came out, because every single one of those that you had, it was a free block for any card pools they shoved in for the -3 to your block mod. And minusing and messing with block mods is almost... I don't think there's anything in the game that actually really like messes with that or specifically cancels that ability. You can only stop it with like canceling responses. So you're saying in general just having like on your attacks offensively a bunch of speed. Okay, so what do you do about when she's attacking you? I know you specifically said don't have stun hate, but the fact is that if you're blocking her attacks, she still gets to play free stuff.
You don't block Xianghua. You can't, because she just gets the free play attack. You have to make that decision how your hand looks, but if you want to block her first 2 attacks and let her free play up to 3 attacks, and then make her hard play her later attacks, that's the smarter play. Or find a way to just eat all of her attacks, whether you have DR on board. If she doesn't have Krita Yuga, her attacks usually aren't as scary. They usually are between like 4 and 7 damage.
Oh, I see. So your answer once again is play Gil and just gain vitality, so you don't have, so you can just eat everything. Okay, all right.
No, I said it all. I said have acid hate DR on.
I'm saying it for you, Mark. That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't allowed to say it.
All right, Scott. So I'll jump over to you, Scott. Then, because the reason we're talking about Xianghua today is because you told us that you hate sitting across the table from Xianghua,
Yeah.
and is it because you're not playing these kind of things, or do you feel it is a very RNG kind of fest of they see Crit Yuga, I don't see my stun hate pieces, I have to play this game that I don't want to play.
It's well, the thing about Xianghua, it's usually it's in the hands of a really good player too,
That's true.
and it's usually exclusively Broberg, and that has a lot to do with it. So playing pretty much any seven-hander with a lot of defense, and you're not playing something like throw a Scorpion or something, then you're gonna have to do a lot of work, and
Yeah.
probably have to have a lot of luck involved too. Like for me, I had a little bit of luck involved in my game with him in top 8.
Yeah, I forgot he played that during Nets. I don't know why I
Yeah, I think
forgot that.
he probably would have he would have probably taken it if he beat me and he was the one to go into top 4. Have either of you ever played Broberg's Xianghua ever?
Never. And I have been trying to crack that cookie and figure out why Broberg himself is so good at it. And versus when I played against JJ playing Xianghua that he won UK nationals with, it's because not only are they completely different players, but I feel like Kevin's is more of like a starve you of resources kind of play style, and JJ's is very see Ice Dragon on turn 2 or something and kill you.
Oh, he builds. Yeah, Broberg builds a lot. That's like my style too. Like I would like to be able to just build the whole game, and eventually I'll have 7 attacks in my hand and I'll just win on that turn. It's kind of how my spike
Young
works
Law
too.
gets to play that game, but there's not a lot of characters that can play that with Shotgun, Nightmare, Ken, blah blah, blah all these aggro decks in them.
Yeah, I forgot how it deals with shotgun. I'm sure it has ways of dealing with shotgun though.
Specifically under water, which is her most played symbol.
No, there's not a lot.
There's not. I don't think there is. I think your biggest answer is that because you have access to stuff like Bang, you just kind of make your
Shotgun.
opponent's turn before getting to the shotgun more difficult. I'm not saying Bang stops it. I'm just saying in general. Like, you just play these tools to make your opponent have to power through a really rough turn, and when the shotgun comes, that's hopefully the only thing you really have to
There's
deal with.
Barrier of Frost. I can play
Oh, yes. Barrier Frost. That's actually not a bad one because it still does the 3 damage thing.
Well, it's 4 damage.
Oh, whoops. I'm thinking of the other one that commits your
But
opponent's
hey,
character.
But hey, get a load of this. What if not all of your attacks are all 3 damage, and like for example, Moonset, and you
Yeah.
can open up with a Moonset, and then who cares?
I actually really like that as well because,
Just
In JJ's list, he played Moonset and Ice Dragon.
yep. And I agree because her ability to give stun to something has nothing to do with the 3 damage, right?
No.
It's only
Nope.
for the damage bonus and the readying on Crit Yuga, and it's for her playing a free reversal.
yeah.
So yeah, giving stun to stuff in general, and then being able to take advantage of all those other cards, is pretty easy. I do also like the shoving cards into your opponent's card pool, and that kind of mechanic is kind of being brought back because of things like Precise Blow and because she's attacking you on your turn. I love Champion of Combat in almost any water deck I play anyway, specifically because it's one of the only real relevant deadlock abilities underwater. Um,
It is how me and JJ like won our water deadlock matches against each other.
Yeah. I think that's one of the only best ways to do it. It also just at any point, like your Xianghua, if you're attacking into them and they block you twice and you get to play your second free attack, right? By the time that happens, they have at least 2 cards in your card pool. And enhance commit for +2/+2 is not unplayable. So it's just one of those nice things for the Xianghua player to have, I suppose. It's not super relevant because it won't be out in time for Worlds, and that's kind of more the appeal that we're kind of go for with the series that we're doing. But she is going to gain access to the Talim attack that's coming out with the Soul Calibur DLC, and I wanted specifically to ask Scott about it because it's essentially I don't know if you'd say weaker, but it's a reprint new version of Piercing Howl, and it has 3 base
Look at that
damage for
face.
her.
Look at that childhood wonder on his face.
So it's this kind of tool that you get to sling on your opponent's turn now as Xianghua. and also just being incredibly strong on your offensive turn. Do you think the card like that will make her see more play, or do you think we'll be at such a new time that it won't matter, or is that card just going to be relevant for anybody?
Um, you know, Xianghua's not really a character that anyone can play, and that attack is like the epitome of not really power creep cash grab. It's just a whole lot of utility, and like decks that do win cardboard are usually not like a whole lot of utility. They're like a powerhouse of stats or some kind of really good interaction. So it makes her a little better, but uh, it's not going to make her see more play.
I do like that idea. I definitely agree with you that if you see a Xianghua, it's not necessarily the character you need to be worried about. It's the person that you're playing against. Because I'm definitely going to play Xianghua and probably diversify Kevin Broberg eventually. But maybe
That's
not.
very high skill ceiling.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I think that's why I like her. I've definitely been searching for like a seven-hander to kind of really fall in love with, and I do like the reversal mechanic that she gets to kind of break because it's not really reversals. Um, I appreciate y'all saying that safe attacks are not a counter to her because it doesn't work.
I know some things that do counter her though.
Like what? List them off.
Taki is the best one, the best example.
I would agree with that. You can actually go check out Scott Summon's YouTube video on his Taki list. I have some local players that fell in love with that list, and a local player was also playing Xianghua and changed decks after they rebuilt that deck and they rebuilt the Taki deck and played against it enough times because it is the epitome of like this anti everything strong in the meta right now, and Xianghua is a deck filled with very anti strong stuff in the meta. And you're right, Taki in general, because the Xianghua player plays her response of playing an attack, and they're like, okay, now I'll kick everything, and so we abort it, and she has to play real UFS now.
Yeah, that's one thing. There's at least two other things. Probably the other thing is Shishio. You should go read up Shishio right now.
I need to read the other ability on Shishio because I don't know what it is. Also, the other one is her foundation, the shadow one, whatever it is.
The what?
The 2/5 non-block that says response after your opponent plays an attack during your turn. Get rid of it.
Oh. Oh yeah, that helps too.
That's the big one I know of. But you're wanting me to look up Shishio.
The weapon ability.
No, wait, yeah, it has that on it as well.
Yes.
I was like, what are you talking about? Shishio, R commit after an attack is blocked, add one stun or weapon attack from your card pool to your staging area face down. Oh. Okay. Like, I get it. That makes sense. You do have to be playing those kind of mechanics in, like, the weapons, whatever the other...
You get how that works, right?
Yeah, because after it's blocked...
It'll just abort the attack.
Right.
Yeah.
There is no window for her to respond. Because the attack doesn't have an her response is after a blocked attack resolves.
Okay. I get that. Would Sung Mina also be in that same category then?
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, doesn't she say after it resolves though?
No, she says when it's blocked.
Yeah, because in Quan Chi, you get to remove the Sangminas and perfect block shotguns.
Yeah, because it's before damage step, so...
Yep, she also says if this attack is blocked.
All right, cool. So I'll just play Sung Mina. That's how I deal with it.
Cool.
Yeah. So we basically kind of talked about, I guess, everything that specifically was with the character, and I think Scott is right on the nose. She is a high skill cap character that only high skill players are going to be playing. So if you are playing against this character at Worlds, you probably should be more scared about how decorated the person across the table from you is, or how long they've been playing the game, more so than you having to deal with Xianghua. At the same time, I do think Xianghua is one of those characters where even in the hands of a mediocre player, they can really punish and take advantage of newer players because she just breaks rules that you don't normally deal with in UFS.
Yeah, you better have like sense of morals or something like that if you're playing her.
Yeah.
Something that makes her not body you on your own turn.
Yeah. Good news is, though, for newer players, if you don't want to play against it, that deck is incredibly expensive. So unless you're coming over with a lot of money, you won't be playing against it too much
It is
locally.
one of the more expensive decks.
Especially if you're playing ones with the yin and yangs in it. If you are going to play dragon in your deck, Krita Yugas aren't cheap, but they're up there. If you're playing movesets in your deck, those aren't cheap, like stuff like that. Um, but no, I think this is actually pretty good. I'm trying not to make our videos 30 minutes long anymore. So unless, Mark, you have anything else you want to say specifically about Xianghua, in specifically talking about worlds, this is one of these characters that we talked about in our previous video for talking about the A+ tier characters. People think she is up there, but as Scott kind of mentioned, not everybody's playing this character, only the higher caliber people are.
If I sit across from Kevin Broberg playing this character, I will be very scared as a player because he's one of the best players in the game, and that's one of the best decks in the game. If I see any other player, I'd have to play it by, it's very much like Xianghua can just whiff sometimes. She is still a 7-hander. You can still kill her with early aggro if she doesn't see her pieces. Just make stuff where she can't block or have a way to deal with those reversals. If you go in on her turn 2 and she doesn't have Krita Yuga and she has a reversal that just has stun 1 on it, usually that's not a huge.
Ooh, actually, for exactly what you're saying, I think that's something, especially for newer players, if they are watching and they want to know, throws. Xianghua does not like to play against throws. So if you are a fan of the Scorpion decks running around playing these throws, Nightmare, which we are eventually going to talk about as well, playing all these throws, she has to block attacks to play her responsibility, and she is a 7-hander with very low vitality, and water by itself does not have incredible answers to throw, like, at all, except for things like Rhythmic Fighting Style, to be honest.
Rhythmic, Castaway, and Forgotten are about like the only answers. She doesn't have Earth, so Castaway doesn't even work.
Yeah, it has to be a 3 base damage throw.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, if you're having problems with Xianghua, play more throws. And this is kind of, I would say, more of a throw-heavy meta than I'm used to for been playing this game for a while. So although people have more and more answers to throws, she is a character that doesn't normally have them, so you can get away with playing them against them. But perfect. No, I think that's pretty good. I'm not sure who we're going to be talking about next time, but thanks so much for watching this one. And if you enjoy this kind of stuff, just let us know below in the comments, like the video, and you can check us out on the next one as well. Thanks, guys.